Good evening, all. Welcome to the session Python Programming for Image Processing and Computer Vision by Dr. Karthik Seemakurthy, Research Scientist, TCS, Research and Innovation Labs, Bangalore. Uh, Thank you, sir, for giving the lecture on Python Programming for Image Processing and Computer Vision in industry perspective. Karthik, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may start now, sir.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, let me thank you all for giving such a wonderful feedback yesterday. So I was really happy to hear that. I even received few mails regarding expressing some of the queries by some of the faculty in few engineering colleges. I was really happy about it. So, in case if you want to if you would like to reach me out after the session as well, in understanding some of your problems, or if you are looking for some solutions, or if you are looking for solutions for any kind of problems that you are currently facing in your image processing or computer vision related project, feel free to approach me. Okay. And yeah and without wasting much time, let me go ahead. Python programming for image processing and computer vision. See, let me tell you a small thing right here. It's very important for you to know, right? See, programming is something. Uh, the most important thing of programming is for you to understand how to build the logic. Okay, the language comes later. Okay, yes, every language has its features. Python has its own features. C has its own features. C++ has its own features. Java has its own features. But the features that Python has currently, okay, is more suitable for image processing and computer vision kind of an industry. That's the reason majority of these industries are choosing Python these days. Okay, and yeah, sorry about it. Okay, I'll give you a quick recap of the first session and then followed by image processing and computer vision pipeline, which I've told you yesterday. And I will choose this example of optical character recognition today, and I'll show you how Python can be used in it. And then I'll also help you to understand how these individual steps of optical character recognition will map to the individual steps of the pipeline which I've shown you yesterday. Okay, and the pathway, yesterday I must have covered, but few points maybe in case if you have any doubts, I'll just reiterate those points, which will be very useful, and then I'll conclude my talk. So biological vision, as I've told you, vision plays a very crucial role. That is a reason these days, and for doing an automation process, one of the most important thing is you have to understand how the scene looks like. Your system that is monitoring your scene should be able to infer what is there in that particular scene. Okay, so it's very important. So among the different sensors that we have today, vision sensors plays a very important role in industrial automation. Okay, I'm not touching upon this part. I've told you very clearly yesterday, motivation vision sensors plays a crucial role in industrial automation because of the parallelization on the image processing operations are highly parallelizable. And then it can be very effectively be used on GPUs. Every industry has a requirement for image processing and computer vision, and domain knowledge also plays a very important role. In some cases, cost of data acquisition plays a very important role. So it's very important as a responsible computer vision, or the main responsibility of image processing or computer vision engineer is whatever data that has been acquired in this high cost data acquisition kind of an applications. So we should be able to build some kind of an effective algorithms in order to improvise the quality of the data that has been already captured. Okay, so that's the main motivation behind this subject. And some more applications, as I've told you, forest inventory counting is one of the very crucial application for paper manufacturing firms especially. So majority of this forest, if you have to maintain a stock maintenance, how do you maintain the how do you do the stock maintenance in your maybe warehouses? Okay, so individually the barcodes are being read, and then the stock is being maintained. A person goes individually to every stock, and then he scans the barcode, available barcode, and then he does, and then the automatic inventory maintenance happens at the back end. Okay, in the same way, if you want to count total number of trees in a forest. Okay, why? Because this is very very important for the paper manufacturing firm, for somebody like a paper manufacturing firm kind of an industry, where he has to keep a track of how many trees are left in a forest. Okay, what kind of trees are there, and if he has for manufacturing paper, if only certain kind of trees are necessary, then he should make sure that he is growing back the same kind of a trees again. Okay, in order to do all this forest inventory kind of accounting kind of an application, TCS has built a drone based solution where they were flying drones across a forest, and they were capturing images and videos, and then from which they were extracting the 3D point cloud out of it, and then I were identifying the individual species of the trees. Okay, they have developed an algorithm where they will count the number of trees, as well as they will count how many trees are there belonging to a certain species, say pine, birch. Okay, so these are some of the species of the trees that will be very useful for manufacturing paper, and how many such trees are there in the forest. Okay, in the same way, if somebody wants to do high voltage transmission lines inspection, it'll be very very difficult for a person to go there and do it. Earlier, how they used to do is they used to send the helicopters, and then they used to drop people almost near to the close to the where the high voltage transmissions lines are there, and then they used to they used that's how they used to monitor whether these transmission lines are perfectly fine, or are there any defects which can lead to major disaster. Okay, but now TCS has developed a solution where you can fly the drones, you can almost you can get closer to the transmission lines at a very safer distance back, because it's a high voltage lines, and if it interacts with the drones power system, and then maybe if they can be some kind of an interference that can happen there, kind of an interference that can happen there. Okay, so drones will operate at a safer distance, they capture the images and videos and gives back to the user who is operating that particular drone. Okay, that's how high voltage transmission lines are being monitored carefully. Windmill inspection, yes, windmill inspection is another crucial application, because where do you think the windmills are mainly installed? It's mainly installed the places where there are huge winds. Okay, and if I have to do an automated inspection by using drones, then my drones should have the ability to withstand that particular heavy winds that are coming in that location. Okay, so that's a major challenge there. Once you have built it, on top of which you will install your cameras, vision sensors, maybe multiple sensors on the drone, you capture the data, and then you give back to the user who is operating that drone. Right, this is how the drone windmill inspection will happen. Okay, and document digitization, that is the application that I'm going to talk today. Okay, and document digitization is about, suppose say you have old bill books that are lying around in your company. Okay, you're an entrepreneur, and then who have been in the industry from long time, and there are a lot of old bill books that are lying around, and because of some due to some reasons, the prints on that bill books are getting damaged. Okay, there'll be some insects, right? It can damage the paper if it stays, if the paper is very old. Okay, and how do you digitize them? Suppose say you have a library, and then you have old papers, and which is sometimes you will see in movies, right? These police officers, or these investigation officers, they generally go to the libraries and search for all the old papers, and then they'll try to understand more about what happened at that particular time, right? If somebody wants to digitize all that information, okay, today the newspapers come online, but however, if you want to keep a track of all the newspapers and easily available to you, if you want to digitize them, okay, document digitization is a technology that is being used there, where optical character recognition is one of the major component in it. Okay, so let me go back with some of the fundamentals of human visual system before even we see what how Python programming can be used for addressing optical character recognition. Okay, so this is a human visual system where you are seeing the images, and your images are sensed by these nerves, cones, and rods. And now these are the rods are mainly responsible for recognizing the intensities, whereas the cones are mainly responsible for recognizing the color of your scene. Okay, uh, if the cones are not working properly, you will not be able to perceive the color of your scene. Everything looks in the grayscale format. Okay, when I mean by grayscale format, that is what earlier people used to call it as a black and white. Okay, but actually it's a grayscale. Black and white means only two intensities are there, but in a grayscale you have 0 to 255 different kinds of intensities are available. Okay, and yes, these rods are mainly used for detecting grayscale intensities. However, the cones are responsible for detecting the color of an object. Okay, color of the scene that my eye is perceiving. Okay, and now yeah, these are rods and cones. Rods are more in number than cones in your human visual system, and so the intensity plays a very crucial role in generally recognizing an object. Yes, color is also equally important in some cases, but in majority of the cases, intensities plays a major role in recognizing an object because rods are there in more in number in your human visual system. And in fact, this was one of the questions that was asked me when I was giving my interview at Samsung Research Institute, Samsung Research here in Bangalore. Okay, this was way back 3 years back. I was giving, and this was a question asked. Okay, so these are some of the fundamental questions that these major big MNCs are going to focus. So you have to really get good at basics. Okay, and this is how the images are formed. If you see here, there's an illumination source which is available, and then the light falls on this scene element and then get reflected back to the imaging system. And this imaging system, this is where the scene will be perceived. And once these intensities are falling on these sensors, this will be digitized, and then this is how your digitized image looks like, the JPEG image or the PNG image, or for that case, in whichever image format that you will store, this is how it looks like. Okay, this picture is captured from this source, Digital Image Processing by Gonzalez. It's a very famous book for image processing. Okay, and when I'm seeing my grayscale image, how does it looks like? So what is an image when you are trying to practically interpret, okay, image? What does it mean to have an image? Image is nothing but it's a matrix of values. Okay, now here, suppose say you are seeing this particular scene. Okay, and now when you are zooming it and you're trying to read this image in your Python program, in the Python program the images are being represented as a matrices. For that sake, in any programming language, images in the software, actually they are represented as a matrix of values. Okay, and now here if you see, that means if this particular if I'm trying to zoom in these regions, and then this is the various sets of intensities, various intensities that will be available. When this particular matrix value has 112, that means that particular scene element has an intensity of 112 units. Okay, among the grayscale from 0 to 255, it will have 112. So this intensity value actually will be decided based on the amount of light that is being received by this particular sensor. Suppose say this 112 is corresponding to this particular location, this particular sensor, that means that 112 is the sensors will have such kind of an output. The 112 will be sorry, the 112 value will be decided based on the amount of light that is coming into this imaging system. Okay, that's the basic image formation. And now when you're going to color images, what happens? The color images in the software Python programming, it's represented as inside a software program, it's being represented as three components: red, green, and blue. And why this red, green, and blue has been chosen? Because our human visual system has cones which can detect red, green, and blue wavelengths majorly. Okay, and the rest of the colors are being generated as a combination of these red, green, and blue fundamental components. Okay, and some of the useful Python packages for image processing: OpenCV, NumPy, scikit-image, scikit-learn, matplotlib, tensorflow, PIL, Python image library. These are some of the useful packages for image processing. And let me go back to this programming module. Okay, this is how you get kick-started. So initially, when I started my programming, I used to get terrified. Okay, I am not a kind of a guy who can program really well. Okay, but when I understood that, okay, programming Python is simply a language. Okay, I know C very well. For me to get started into Python, it was almost like my mother tongue is Telugu, and then I am getting started in learning Tamil, okay, or Kannada, or Marathi, or whatever new language, or according to the place where I am in. Okay, it's the same way. If you see, the fundamentals of language remains to be the same. Okay, and and it's the same way the fundamentals of programming the logic remains to be the same, but it's only that you have to understand what are the features, additional features that Python specifically offers you in order to do your task. Okay, that is more important for you to grasp. Okay, so don't ever get terrified by for learning a new programming language. And these days there are a lot of open source tools and open source tutorials which can offer you a great Python programming. And I think this is one of the best course that I've seen. I'll just type and see edX Introduction to Computer Science. Okay. Okay, Introduction to Computer Science and Programming. Okay, this particular course actually talks about it's a very good course for learning the Python programming. Okay, let me go back, and this is a something called as a collab environment. In case if you are not aware of it, this is one of the greatest advantage of a collab environment is you will get the availability of GPUs very well. Okay, I'm running this command over here, and if you see here, okay, latest NVIDIA driver, just a second. Okay, this is a free environment that is offered by Colab. Okay, there is some issue, I guess, but nevertheless, let me go ahead. And Colab is not, sorry, NVIDIA drivers are not required. But however, you will have an access to, what do you say, the latest NVIDIA drivers, latest NVIDIA GPUs here. Okay, and then so that you can do majority of this image processing tasks as such. Okay, so let me figure out, let me come back. I'm not sure why it happened. And since this collab environment comes up from Google, you have the capability, or you have the facility to mount your Google Drive first. Okay, when I click here, connect to Google Drive. Okay, and it will ask me into by using which account I have to connect to the Google Drive. I'm choosing this account because whatever data that you have will be stored into your Google Drive. Okay, it will asking me for the authorization code, and then I'll choose the particular account. I will allow Colab to access my Google Drive, and then I'll copy this and paste this authorization code here. Okay. Okay, if you see here, my Google Drive is mounted here at this location. Okay, I'm just refreshing here. If you see, I have an access to my Google Drive here. In this folder, I have all the images that I want to work on. And then, so I want to get here first. Okay, so as majority of you know, cd is the command that you can use in order to get into that directory. And for image processing, OpenCV libraries are majorly used. And the way you have hash include, right? You have something called hash include. I hope if you have done C programming, this is how you will start with. In the same way, if you have to import, if you have to, because the beauty of this Colab environment is majority of your image processing packages are automatically installed here. You need not do anything. Okay, anybody can access this Colab environment. And I'm just importing this OpenCV libraries. It's called CV2 in Python. And I'm also importing this library because there is some challenge with how CV2 offers OpenCV to actually offers, there are some very good image processing functions in it. Okay. And now, but there is an issue with the IM show function within CV2 because it is disabled in Jupyter. If you are not using Colab, if you are using any kind of a Python ID, you can, as it is use it. Just for displaying purpose, I'm using this library called matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. And now I'll access this pyplot library as PLT, so as a short form. And then if you see, I'm just reading this image here, cameraman.jpg. Okay, the cameraman is here. I'm reading this cameraman image. The 0 parameter is passed in order to, I want to ensure that my image is read in grayscale, not in color mode. And so I'm reading this image IMG. Okay, when I'm displaying this image IMG, if you see here, this print image actually is displaying this matrix of values. Okay, if you see, that is what, when I said my image inside a software program is represented as a matrix of values. Okay, and now also there is IM show function, PLT IM show function. So I'm using that and displaying this particular image. Okay, and going back to how do I read color image? There is no difference in the way you read your color image. cv2.imread, and that's how you read your mandrel is the color image that I have in my directory here, right? And mandrel.png, and it is read as img. Okay, in this img variable, now this mandrel images data is available. Okay, and what I'm doing here, I'm printing this shape of this img.shape. Okay, the shape of this variable called img. Okay, if I see that the shape is 288 comma 288 comma 3, that means it has 288 rows and 288 columns, and it has 3 channels. Okay, each of these channels actually represent this red, green, and blue components. Okay, but for except for the OpenCV functions, other majority of the image processing libraries assumes that the first channel is red, the second channel is green, and the third channel is blue, except for the OpenCV libraries. So that is a reason, actually, even though my mandrel's image is like this, the actual mandrel image is like this, I have some form of some kind of color distortions in my original mandrel image, because my OpenCV libraries will read this image as 3 channels, but the first channel, unlike the other image processing libraries, the first channel in this img variable represents blue, the second channel represents green, the third channel represents red. Okay, and that's exactly the same reason you have some kind of an color distortions. So in order to, first, if I have to use any other libraries, first have to do that color conversion. How can I do this color conversion? cv2.cvt color, and this is how I should color convert from bgr to rgb. I'm color converting it, and now I'm showing this is perfectly fine. The mandrel image is properly shown over here. Okay, see, these are some of the minutest things that you should take care of. Okay, and so this is how for let's get into some real-time problem over here. Okay, on document digitization. Now coming back to the basic block diagram, the first step is data capture, second step is pre-processing, feature extraction, region of interest, and scene inference. Okay, So today, in today's session, we will mainly focus on pre-processing block. Just a second. Yeah. We'll for the today's session, we'll mainly focus on pre-processing block. Okay. And how see how important the pre-processing is for this particular example of optical character recognition. That is what we are going to focus on today. Okay, optical character recognition is nothing but it transforms 2D image of text that could contain machine printed or handwritten text from its image representation into machine readable text. Okay, so that is the main important thing over here. Okay, I have an image where the text is there, but at the low level, my images are nothing but the matrix of intensities. Okay, as I said, from that matrix of intensities, how do I infer what is the text that is written there? Is what OCR deals with. That is the reason the optical values. When I mean by optical character recognition, that means actually you have a set of intensities which are captured by your camera imaging system, and those each of those intensities are because of the light, the amount of light intensity, amount of the light that is being captured by your imaging system at a particular location. Okay, from that optical based intensities, how do I infer characters, or how do I recognize characters from the images, is what the OCR technology is all about. Okay, as I said, OCR is extremely useful for automated text entry into computerized systems, and several challenges exist in digitizing the documents. Okay, let's talk about, before the challenges, let's talk about some of the important applications over here. Okay, the first application is building license plate readers. Suppose, say, these days you see majority in the police stations, the police people generally, they capture if somebody is violating the traffic rules. What do? They have the point shoot cameras, and then they capture the license plates, and then they'll send it back. They'll send it back. Suppose, say, if you want to continuously monitor what are the different vehicles that are passing through a particular road. Okay, and what is the license plate number which is being there. Okay, if you want to automate that particular process, okay, but just by using a surveillance video, how do I automatically read the license plate information from the vehicles? Okay, OCR you can use there. Okay, in the same way, digitizing invoices, as I've said, right, the bill books. In the same way, you can digitize menus and digitizing ID cards. These are some of the very, very critical applications of optical character recognition. Of course, it's very well matured, but where you can contribute, I'm going to tell you in the slides to come. These are some of the challenges in documents. If you see here, you have some kind of in gray dots, because of which it is covering this particular text. I cannot read this header unless and until this gray dots are removed. In the same way, these if you see, this document is something like a low resolution document. If this low resolution document is given to my OCR software, what happens is it will not be able to recognize properly. First, I have to improve its resolution, then only I'll be able to read the characters properly. The same way, I have some kind of a distortions. Okay, if there is a distorted text, then also my OCR will not be able to. The same way, sometimes the documents are rotated, but my OCR technology assumes that I have something like, I have to read that OCR technology assumes that the text is readable from top to bottom. Okay, so I have to correct for this rotated text as well before sending it to the OCR system, before extracting the features, or before sending it to some character recognition system. Okay, and now here is something like a skewed text. Yesterday also I've shown you, right? Suppose, say, a cable is there inside the water, and then you have a water flowing, and then you're trying to recognize the number which is written on the cable, the ID which is mentioned on the cable, by using the data that you capture from the camera that you hold. Okay, if you are trying to do that, then you have these kind of distortions, and your number won't be visible properly. There'll be a lot of skew in the characters. How do you do it? Then how will you be able to read the images in such kind of how you will be able to read it properly? Okay, the information written on the cable can be read only if I am compensating this skewness which is present in this video first. Then only I'll be able to, but then only my text processing, the OCR technology, will be able to read what is there here. Also, if you see the text, is rotated here. Again, I have to compensate for it. Here it's rotated in clockwise, here it's rotated in anti-clockwise. Okay. In the same way, I have something like a watermark on this document. This watermark will be like a disturbing factor for the OCR technology. If I have to recognize what are the different things which are present in the text, I have to remove this watermark first. Then only my OCR technology will be able to properly read the contents which are there in this particular table. Okay, the steps in OCR, as I said, pre-processing of image, text localization, character segmentation, character recognition, post-processing. Okay, we'll touch more on pre-processing as well as text localization as well as up to character recognition. Post-processing today we are not going to touch. And one of the main or the important library that is there available today in order to do the text recognition is Tesseract. Okay, this is a Python wrapper for actual software called Tesseract. It is originally developed by HP Labs and later it was taken up by Google. Okay, and now based on neural networks used for recognizing the text lines. The neural network architecture is heavily used in order to recognize the text inside this Tesseract. And for you to use this software, you have to install two packages, Tesseract OCR and Tesseract on Colab. Okay, so let us go back again to some fundamentals. This is how you can install the Tesseract libraries. apt install Tesseract OCR and pip install Tesseract. This is how I'm installing the Tesseract libraries. And then reading a text image. For reading an image, what all I need CV2 OpenCV libraries. As I've said, I'm reading a text image which is there over here, and then what I'm trying to do is I am giving this text image to my box plot function, where my box plot function, what it is trying to do is it is trying to pass my image, the image which I give as an input to this box plot function, into this Tesseract library. Okay, once it is passed to the Tesseract library, it will try to extract all the regions where the text is there, and it will plot boxes around that particular text. Okay, and this is a function of this box plot function. And if you see the plt.im show is the function I'm using, and I'm using this parameter called grayscale, so that I just want to display that the image data in the grayscale. No color component has to be used, else there will be some tinge. There's an issue again. There's a challenge if I don't mention as CMAP equal to gray. Okay, you see here each of these words, each of these characters are being recognized, and then a bounding box is drawn. Of course, there's an error, but however, to the best possible extent, this particular software will extract the text in the best possible way. Okay, and now Tesseract.image to string. What does it function do when I pass this image variable, the text image variable, inside to this function called image to string? As the function name suggests, it will, whatever text contents which are there in this particular image, it will be extracted in the form of a string extracted underscore text. This is a variable name that I have given. When I print this variable, this is how it looks like. This is the first line of this text example. This is the second line of this same text. Okay, this is the textual information which is there in this particular image. And this is another. So now let's look at what is the importance of pre-processing. Okay, when do you need a pre-processing? When your images are distorted, mainly when your images are distorted. What kind of distortions? I've shown you what kind of distortions can be there. Let's look at, we'll randomly introduce some distortions over here, and then we'll infer the text in it. Okay, and so import numpy as np and import random. These are the two functions which I'm currently using. Numpy is for array processing over here. What I'm trying to do by this function sp underscore noise is I'm trying to add the random noise, the salt and pepper noise, to my given image. Okay, how does salt and pepper noise looks like? Okay, the previous image, the text underscore image, this is a text underscore image. I'm reading it, I'm passing it to this function called sp underscore noise, and this is the noise. This is how the noise will be getting added. Okay, and if you see, I'm writing back this noisy image as sp underscore noise.png, and this is where, if you see here, this will be stored back into your Google Drive again. Okay, and now I'm plotting, I'm showing this image, how the noise, to understand how the noise looks like. And if you want to increase the noise intensity, what you can do is you can increase this number. Okay, when you increase this number, the noise intensity increases. When you decrease this number further, the noise intensity decreases. In the same way, if I'm trying to, so what happens? Can't my PyTesseract library will not be able to read the text which is there in this noisy image? Yes, that is what it's going to happen. If you see here, when I'm trying to draw the box plot, okay, this box plot will be disastrous, and there'll be a lot of errors. It will not be able to recognize the text properly. There'll be a lot of errors. Okay, if you see here, this box plot will be clearly, will be able to distinguish each and every words. But however, this box plots, some of the box plots here will be able to distinguish, but some of them will not be able to do it. Okay, and the text which is displayed here is erroneous. Okay, the text which is displayed in the first case, it's a clean text, you'll be able to read it properly. However, this text which is displayed over here will be highly erroneous. It will not be able to read it properly because of this presence of noise. Okay, when you have such kind of a noisy image, what you will do, you have to denoise your image. What you need to do for denoising the salt and pepper noise, there's something called median blur function which is there, and when you pass your image, the image with salt and pepper noise, into your median blur function, you'll be able to compensate for that noise. Okay, when I am reading this noisy image over here and then passing my noisy image variable into this remove noise function, when I am doing that, this is how, of course, there are some distortions in the way the characters are being read, but when this denoised image, when I am passing back to my PyTesseract function, I'll be able to read the text or the contents which are there in this image clearly. What does it mean? So that is where the importance of pre-processing block comes. Here, the pre-processing steps, that is what it means. Before actually passing on to your PyTesseract library, which will do these three functionalities like feature extraction, region of interest, and scene inference. If my PyTesseract library has to work properly, then first I have to understand how do I pre-process the image, for which I have to understand what are the different kinds of distortions that are there in the textual images, basically. Okay, in the same way, let's look at another form of distortions over here. Okay, there's another kind of distortions called the watermarks here. And watermarks, there's a light text which will be there in your images. Okay, if you see this image, there's a gray color text which is over there here. Okay, there's a gray color text which is there over here. This gray color text will actually, again, this kind of images will not allow your PyTesseract function, the PyTesseract library to function properly. Okay, I'm reading this watermark image. Where from I'm reading this watermark 1.jpg is there inside my Google Drive. I'm reading it from there because I have already set my path to this particular folder called Select Smart Demo. Okay, and I'm displaying it. So I'm displaying this watermarked image. I'm also passing my watermarked image into this PyTesseract library and trying to see whether it will be able to read the textual contents properly or not. Okay, when I'm printing that, this is how it is. Okay, you'll not be able to read, it will randomly throw out some contents. Okay, yes, you are able to read some words like invoice, stock after sales. However, the structure is not maintained properly. Okay, and this is also reading some random text also. Okay, which is actually not desirable. And for removing watermarks, what is the best logic that you can use over here? Okay, if you carefully see here, this image is a complete black and white image. Either you have a grayscale image, but you have majorly three distinct colors. One color is for this watermark, and you have for the text it is represented as a black, and the rest is the background is represented as a white. Okay, 255 0, and there'll be some color which will be there for this particular grayish kind of an intensities which are there corresponding wherever the watermark is there. Okay, once you have identified it, what all you have to do is you have to identify all the locations where that lesser intensities are. Okay, you need not use any sophisticated deep learning or machine learning kind of an algorithms. All I'm trying to do is the positions inside the image where the grayscale or the textual image is there. Okay, and then what I'm trying to do here is I am trying to use all those indices. I'm copying onto target image here. Okay, once I'm doing that, if I'm able to see this when I'm displaying this target image, this is how it looks like. And then here, if you see, this watermark is completely removed over here. When I pass this watermark removed image onto pytesseract function, you see here, this will beautifully read out all the contents which are there inside my textual image very, very neatly. Okay, in some cases, actually you have this text information, sorry, in some cases this these numbers are also properly read. Some kind of a tabular structure is also very well maintained over here. Okay, that's the beauty of pre-processing block. It's not only about this kind of a pre-processing block. For any kind of a pre-processing system, suppose say for it can be for blackhands, it can be for a low resolution documents, it can be for a perspective distortion, it can be for rotated text, it can be for skewed text, it can be for watermarks, for any kind of a distortion that your images have. Okay, if you are able to build some kind of an algorithms in order to overcome these distortions or remove these distortions and improve the quality of the images, and then you feed it to your pytesseract library, your pytesseract library will be able to do a great job. Okay, again, Tesseract OCR is a main software, and Tesseract library is the Python wrapper to it, which can access the inbuilt Tesseract OCR. That means Tesseract library actually is simplifying your job. Okay, and this is the complete OCR example. Okay, and you can build, the proper the, what do you say, pre-processing algorithms for other distortions as well. I've shown you only these two for watermarks and noisy textual images. However, you can build the same kind of a pre-processing for other documents, for other kind of a distortions also. Here I've listed only 6, but there can be other distortions also, which when you are reading the literature of this document analysis, then you will be able to figure out that well. Okay, and so some people ask me whether this document analysis is really matters much or not. Is it practically, what do you say, applicable? Do companies still look at document analysis or not? Yes, companies are very much interested in document analysis. And if you want me to say, from my experience at least, you have a very well established softwares to infer only the English words for the English literature, for only the document, sorry, for digitizing the documents present only in the English language, but not for other languages. Maybe if you want to build an digitization software for Telugu, yes, there are few tools. I don't say they are not completely there. There are few tools, but it's not matured to a level where the English language processing tools are there. Okay, something like PyTesseract. PyTesseract is very well known for detecting your textual information and then inferring what is there in it, right? So the same way, you don't have the same thing available for other languages as well, maybe for Tamil or Telugu or Marathi or Kannada or Bhojpuri, for any other kind of language, because that plays a very, very important role. Suppose say somebody is going, somebody is trying to understand, or trying to, a farmer in the rural areas of Karnataka is trying to read, is trying to read a document which is there in English. How will he be able to understand? Okay, and then, independently, if he wants to do that independently, all that you need to do is, if should help him to you should help him to install that OCR technology for inferring the English, and then you have the rest is taken care, because Google Translate can very well be used in order to convert this English text. Once you have inferred text from the images, and then this Google Translate can very well be used in order to convert that English text into Kannada. Okay, so that's a beauty of OCR. And for another application, if you want me to tell, Vedic scriptures, if you want to digitize the Vedic scriptures, which is written in Sanskrit. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if the digitizing Sanskrit documents is so is very well matured or not. That particular area is also somebody can crack. And if you are good at Sanskrit, and then if you want to build such kind of technology, I think you should read more on how OCR is done for English. The same way you can apply the same logic, and somewhere you can start looking towards what are the additional things that you have to do in order to digitize the documents which are written in Sanskrit. Okay, that will really help big time in order to digitize that Sanskrit documents, or for that sake any kind of an Indian language documents. Okay, because India is diversified, it has many different languages within our country, and these kind of tools will definitely help a lot of people who are in rural areas, especially in order to understand English documents especially. Okay. And yes, just by speaking about some cool things what this MNCs do, it's not enough. It's very important for you to understand how you can reach TCS Research and Innovation Labs. Okay, if you're a student, then I would highly recommend you to attempt these competitions like Code Vita, TCS Ninja. Code Vita have multiple rounds of programming assignments, and TCS Ninja has the contents of TCS Ninja examination are English, quantitative aptitude, programming concepts, and coding. Okay. And earlier, until 2018, TCS used to visit campuses. Many of your senior professors must be knowing it very well. And but nowadays, what they are trying to do is whoever is attempting these examinations, they are considering them for further selection process. Okay, to ensure all the top performers of Code Vita and TCS Ninja are given an opportunity to attempt something called TCS Digital Examination. Once you qualify for digital examination, you are given an opportunity to be an intern with TCS Innovation Research and Innovation Labs, or also you will be working in some of the recent technologies related to artificial intelligence. Okay, you will be placed in those kind of a projects, and better performers will be given an opportunity, a full-time opportunity to work with TCS Research and Innovation Labs. Okay, and yet another way to enter into TCS Research and Innovation is doing masters in institutes, engineering institutes like IITs, NITs, and IIITs. Okay, TCS personally goes for recruitment. TCS Research and Innovation goes for recruitment in these major engineering institutes. And for you to enter into IITs, you need to get good rank. Okay, get good rank in GATE. Okay, and now yes, getting a good GATE rank in GATE is not the only one way that is there. Okay, and there are several other ways. For that sake, if you see the first thing, maybe MS by research. Okay, many of you know you must be knowing about MTech, which is a 2-year program. However, MS by research is something like a 3-year program that is there, and then that's like a mini PhD program, and there is something like an integrated PhD program where you will get masters as well as PhD together. Okay, and for which, yes, good gate rank is essential, but suppose say for getting into IIT Madras for VLSI specialization, you need at least below 75 gate rank, all India gate rank. Okay, and then some of the top performers in the country actually choose the IIT Madras for its quality of education that is given there, or the kind of facilities it has. Okay, and yes, it's not the only way. However, even if you get thousands, suppose say for some reason you did some small mistake and you have some say 900 rank, 950 rank. Okay, and if you want to enter into IITs, another way to get into IITs, you can apply for MS by research, integrated PhD programs, or direct PhD programs, and then you will be given an opportunity to write another written exam based on the department that you are applying for, and then after which, after clearing that written test, and then you will be going ahead and going ahead with one more round of an interview, after which you will be given your choice of your area of choice. That means, suppose say if you want to pursue research in communication systems, you can do that. If you want to do it in VLSI, you can do that. So this is how you can enter into IITs, even though you have maybe a gate ranks above 500. Okay, that's the best possible way. Okay, and another way, suppose say many of the students don't know, even I didn't had awareness about project associate positions. Many of these professors in IITs actually they do some industry collaboration projects for which they need some people. They cannot assign those works to existing PhD or MS or an MTech students with them. So these professors recruit some additional people for their lab for doing these projects. And then how will you get to know about these projects? Suppose say your area of interest is image processing, and then you may have to list down all the professors who are there in different IITs and then go through their profiles. And then each of these, some of those professors, they generally display that particular information about project associate openings in their website. Okay, you have to closely follow them, and then you have to, that's how you'll be getting know about project associate positions. The advantage with this project associate positions is they will not look for gate score. Okay, that doesn't mean that you have to not take gate seriously. Please don't get me wrong. It's only about, even if you, unfortunately, if your gate rank is little higher and you still want to get into IITs, this is another way you can enter into. Okay, project associate positions, this is how. And if the another advantage with project associate positions is you will be asked to upgrade to masters or MTech or PhD program with a very, very minimal effort. Okay, but finding a project associate positions is very, very difficult. That's it's very rarely available, for which you have to closely observe your suppose your area of interest is image processing or artificial intelligence, and then maybe you have to list out all the professors details who are working in those areas, and then you have to approach them, drop them your email them with your CVs, properly well performed CVs, and that's how you can get into these kind of positions. Okay, and this is a pathway. And once you get into IITs, and there's a definite chance, majority of the research labs, even though they don't do direct recruitment, uh, recruitment for BTechs, but they do a direct kind of a recruitment in IITs, NITs, and triple ITs. Okay, and this is recently we did an interview for a PhD candidate in IIT Hyderabad. Okay, IAC also for that sake. Okay, so this is the pathway for TCS research and innovation. But even though I spoke about TCS research and innovation, majorly you can the same procedure applies for any other research institute like TCS. Okay, I'm slightly modifying this email ID. Please don't contact me here from yesterday. Actually, there's been slight issue with my email ID, official email ID. I'll be able to receive your emails, but I will not be able to respond back. Okay, I request you to change my email ID, the contact email ID. Okay, Karthik IITM 87. Okay, Karthik IITM 87 is the ID on which I want you to contact me. Okay, and if you want to get connected with me on LinkedIn, and this is how I am there, Dr. Karthik Seemakurthy. Okay, and thanks for your patience listening. I really enjoyed yesterday's questions, and the best thing that I liked is after the session there were a lot of people who dropped me an email expressing their doubts and some of their doubts on. So they were stuck at some places in image processing projects for some of the image processing projects that they were doing, and then they got stuck and they have mailed. Okay, that is what it is. In case if you're doing these projects and if you need any kind of suggestions for your higher studies or image processing projects, for your BTech projects, MTech projects, and if you have chosen this area as your interest, then you can always get back to me. Okay, and please note my change in email ID. Please use this email ID instead of the email ID which I've given earlier. Okay, good. Thanks very much for Chalapathi Institute for giving me this kind of a wonderful opportunity. I thoroughly enjoyed this 2-day webinar session and looking forward to associate with you in future as well. And thank you very much. And I'm open for questions right now if you have any.
Vaishali.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam.
Sir, may I know for facial image processing, which programming language we can use?
Python is the best, madam. Python has some beautiful libraries for recognizing faces. I think that's the best.
Will it recognize only static faces or the video input is also possible using Python?
Yes, yes. Videos also you can read, and then you can even identify faces on videos as well.
Okay, sir. My PhD project is based on that only. If I need any help, can I contact you, sir?
Sure,
Through
madam.
mails?
Please drop an email, and then I'll get back
Uh,
on whatever query that you have.
okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. It's
Nice
very much.
session, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
SS Kiran.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Very nice session.
Thank
Sir,
you, sir.
actually, you discussed some three type of images like challenges, rotated text, skewed text, and watermarks. Sir, if
Yes.
you take any watermark like rainy image or snow image, can we convert that OCR image? Is it converted to text, sir? Rainy image or some any cloudy image? Is it
Yes.
possible in Python?
Yes, sir. Actually, yesterday I've shown something called dehazing. I'm not sure if you were there for my yesterday's session.
Yes.
There are some class of algorithms called dehazing, and if you're able to dehaze, use those algorithms in order to remove the haze or the cloudy effect, and then you will be able to read the text properly. Okay, that is one thing. For de-raining also, there are some beautiful algorithms that have been developed. If you are able to use those algorithms first in order to remove the rain kind of an effect from your image, then you'll be able to read it. Of course, this is I think I should thank you for bringing up this. This is a very, very useful application, especially when the rains are there. And if you want to detect the vehicles moving around on the highways, by
Yes, sir.
using the surveillance data, this will be very, very useful if you're able to develop such kind of an application.
Yes, sir. Right, sir. Sir, I think which is the preferable? Is it MATLAB or Python, sir, to implement these kind of projects like that?
uh, I it, Python is the best, sir, because one of the main reason
Yes.
is MATLAB for a beginner it's fine, but if you want to do these kind of projects, Python is the best because it the processing the computational processing is very, very heavy in MATLAB. Okay,
Yes, sir. Right,
and
sir.
that's
Thank you
that's
so
the
much, sir.
reason Python is majorly preferred.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Suresh.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Suresh garu.
It's very informative information which I received from the last 2 days regarding this
Thank you.
image processing and related information. But sir, can you specify the area where I can go forward with analysis and do the PhD? Can you specify the specific area where I can go forward for PhD?
Okay, sure. You want to take it up in image processing or computer vision?
Actually, I'm a CSC background. I have idea about Python programming language as well as NumPy also.
Okay.
As far as my basic knowledge is concerned, I don't have much about image processing.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, I have basic knowledge about how to convert image into matrix. These are the information which I know. I'd
Okay.
like to, as far as based on your sessions, I'm very much interested to do research in that specific area like image processing.
Okay.
That is the reason I'm asking you, is there any specific area where I can go forward with this for PhD?
Sure, sir. I'll definitely give you some pointers maybe. Okay. So from my experience, so the question was asked by Mr. Suresh, right?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Suresh, from my experience, what I can tell you is, whenever you're picking up a topic, you should never pick up a topic which is highly explored. Something like maybe tracking, okay, motion tracking. You see, there's a huge literature available in image processing and computer vision. Okay, this is very, very difficult for you to contribute in those areas. Okay, but one of the main reason for me to take up underwater imaging during my PhD research was this only, because it's highly unexplored, and then you'll be you have an opportunity to contribute something there. Okay, all that you have to do is whenever you're taking up such kind of an areas of underwater imaging, you have maybe suppose let's take an example how you can relate this OCR technology with underwater imaging. Okay, I have a skewed text available, and then if I give this kind of a skewed text to my OCR software, it will not be able to infer the text properly. So I have to understand the physics of this underwater imaging first, and then I should be able to solve this deskewing problem, and then only I can feed it to my OCR software. Okay, and in the way the one of the participants just now asked, can suppose say images are affected with haze and images are affected with rain, can my OCR software really work well? No, you have to pre-process them as I have suggested. Okay, suppose say this in the same image, suppose I have haze here, the water is very clear. Sometimes if you take the water in the lakes and nearby water bodies, the water is very dirty there. Okay, and the text will be absolutely you will not be able to see it properly. And what you will be able to do there, you have to understand how the images are found there, and then you should be able to give this. Once you pre-process them, you should be able to give to the OCR software, and then you should be able to do it properly. Okay, so these are the areas. Underwater imaging is one such area which I would recommend you. And if you have a strong interest towards languages, linguistics, in the same way, there's a very good opportunity for you. And if you're assuming that your mother tongue is Telugu, and then there's a very good opportunity for you to develop some softwares which can digitize the Telugu documents, all Telugu documents. Okay, and not very much has been explored in that area. If you're able to do that, that will be a very good contribution for your PhD. That is another area which I can think of immediately.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Annaya Kumar.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam.
Sir, very nice session in image processing. Actually, I'm eagerly waited for your session, sir.
Okay.
I'm doing my research in medical image processing.
Okay.
I have one small doubt, sir.
Yes, madam.
In medical image processing, pre-processing technique, is it compulsory or is it optional, sir?
Definitely it will help. One of the it all depends on the application, madam. What
Yes,
happens is for some applications, the noise presence of, if you are able to, majority of the denoising algorithms or the pre-processing algorithms, how they will work is they will try to modify the intensities, image intensities. When I'm trying to say image intensities, let me go back to this code. Okay.
Yes, sir.
When I'm trying to denoise, what happened here, if you see, the text is also modified slightly.
Yes, sir.
And if your application is very, very critical and you cannot afford to lose this kind of an information, okay, then you have to ensure that your denoising algorithm is working properly. Okay, here even if the text is distorted, this particular Tesseract software is robust enough to infer that this particular word is example. Okay, but it will not be the case everywhere. And suppose say if you're dealing with something like a tumor detection, and your images are modified there, whatever image input, whether it can be CT or MRI, whatever images that you take as an input to your medical imaging toolbox, okay, and then your images are modified because of denoising, then it will be very, very difficult. Okay, so whether you want to denoise or take the images as it is, it depends on the criticality of the application. Suppose say even if a minor modification of intensities doesn't matter much, and you can still will be able to perform your application well, in that case, yes, you cannot you can still do denoising and then go ahead. But if the modification of intensities is what do you say, if the modification of intensities can incur you heavy cost, okay, if the intensities are modified and then you are missing the detection of tumor, that will be huge cost for the patient who is coming to you, basically, right? And in those cases, you cannot afford to do denoising or these kind of an algorithm. You should be able, but you should be able to design your tumor detection algorithms robustly in such a way that you should be even in the presence of noise, it should be able to detect it properly.
Okay,
Have I
sir.
answered your question, madam?
Yes, sir. I got the answer, sir.
Yeah.
One more small doubt, sir.
Yes, madam.
Actually, you have shown one code like how to import folder from your drive, from our
Yes.
drive.
Yes.
Yeah. Suppose that folder is in my local system, sir.
Okay.
How can I import it to my code, sir?
One thing, if you want to use Colab environment and you do want to do your processing, what you need to do is you have to open the Google Drive, upload your contents there, and then you can mount your drive here, and then you'll be able to open your contents in the Google Drive environment. Okay.
Sir, I'm using Kaggle, sir, actually.
Then you have to upload the documents there.
Okay, in Kaggle, I had to upload, sir.
Yes, madam. You have to use the Kaggle environment's virtual disk, and then only you'll be able to access the data. Else, you'll not be able to access.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, madam.
Karthik sir,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
I think you have cleared all doubts.
Okay.
Okay. I express my thanks to our chairman, Sri Y.V. Anjaneyal Garu, and secretary and correspondent, Sri Y. Sujit Kumar, for continuous encouraging for conducting the series of webinars for the benefit of students, staff, and faculty members. I thank the resource person of the 2 days webinar, Dr. Karthik Garu, for the versatile presentation in the context of image processing and computer vision, useful to everyone in engineering field. I thank the participants from the different places who are present for the whole sessions and for their patient listening. I thank to the faculty of electronics engineering department for their continuous help and support. I thank one and all. Thank you one and all. A feedback form I think you have received. You fill it and send it back to us. Within 2 working hours, you will receive the e-certificate from Chalapathi Institute of Technology. Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.